Have you ever been bullied before? Hmm, that is today's topic. We're going to be talking about bullying in school. We're going to be talking about kids bullying. We're going to talk about bullying on the internet. We're going to be talking about bullying with your so called friends, okay? This is your girl, Big AJ, coming back with you with another video today. For my new subscribers here, thank you for rocking and rolling with your girl. For my new subscriber, if you're new to this channel, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So, have you ever been bullied? If you ever been bullied, leave me a comment. Let me know. Tell me who was your bully. Okay, and what did you do about it? So, as you guys know, some of you may know or may not know, I am a teacher. I work with kids pre-K through 12 years of age. I worked in the school system again for over 20, 30 years, and I've seen it also well. I've seen it all the time. So, school is about to start back in a few more weeks, and I want to talk about bullying because it's just something that's been on my mind. You know, I don't like to see when people get bullied. You know, that just bother me. I hate to see it when I tell you. I know hate is a strong word, but I hate to see someone bullying other people. And that's because there's so many people out here in this world, they just cruel. Just so many cruel people out here. And they say hurt people, and I do believe that. And you know, if you have small children, I hope you guys are teaching them pick your friends wisely. Pick your friends wisely. I hope you're teaching them not to hang out with those kids that's mean, you know, like the mean girls, you know, do things intentionally to hurt each other. You know, you have kids, they go around talking about what this kid got on, how this kid look, how her hair look, how his shoes look, you know, things of that nature. Calling them names. That's bullying, you know, and it's sad that that happens in school and it starts at a very young age. Preschoolers, they do it. And you wonder sometimes where do these people get all of this meanness from? It's in a spirit, like they don't have love for each other. You know, it's just sad. You know, bullying, trying to be funny or trying to get a crowd. I don't know what it is. You know, but I hope you guys talk to your children this school year. I've seen so many kids in the news lately, on the internet. You may have seen it as well. Some of these kids is taking their own lives. Yep, taking their own lives because of another person's action. Because another person is mean. Another person wants to be this big bad wolf and hurt people. You know, I see so many young kids. They come to school 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they got their fists balled up like this. Oh, they got so much anger in them. Like, how do a kid, 7 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, have so much anger? What world are they living in that has caused them to have so much anger towards another person that they want to hurt them? What kind of household are they living in? What's going on? You know, you have these kids bringing guns and stuff to school, knives, violence. It's violence. You know, these kids not only bully their peers, they bully adults. They bully adults too. I had a teacher tell me today that she was a bus driver, and she said the kids on the bus, they throw ice at her, they call her the B word, you know, they harass that lady every day to the point where she wants to quit her job. And when she reported to administration, Y'all won't believe the answer that she gets, the help that she doesn't get. All kids is counted for. Every kid in the public school system, they give so many dollars for each child to attend school. So instead of them suspending a child off of the bus, they'll give them a pat on the wrist just to keep them dollars. And they say people do all things for money. Money rules the world. So you're going to let this teacher, this bus driver, get bullied by some junior high school student, abused physically, emotionally, mentally, just to save $1? What is this world coming to, you guys? It's like, wow. That's why I want you guys to teach your kids that bullying is mean. No one is better than the next person. If I cut my arm right here, I'm gonna bleed, and if I cut your arm right here, yours gonna bleed too. We have to teach our kids that love is the best way to go. Teach our kids, to make friends with people who have good spirits. Just the other day, you all have seen it. Another young boy in Mississippi was killed amongst his peers. Bullying is bullying. So we have to teach our kids, pick our friends wisely, because everybody is not your friend. Everybody is not your friend. I don't want my kid going to school getting picked on. That's why I always be saying, why don't schools go back to having like dress codes so everybody can somewhat look alike? With the white shirts, the yellow shirts, the blue shirts, and then the khaki pants and the black little shoes or whatever, and then have the teachers have some form of dress code where they wear like suit jackets, little pencil skirts, some nice shoes, without all that short stuff these teachers be coming to school in, like they going to the nightclub, this, that, and the third, or whatever, so people could stop looking, because, the world we live in now, everybody wants to be that it girl or that it dude. Everybody want to be all this in a bag of chips, and all that. And so when you don't have those things, people tend to bully you. People tend to think a little bit more higher than themselves than necessary, right? We have to teach people that that's not cool. You're no better than the next man. You may have a little bit more money. You may have a little bit more clothes, but you are no better. You have to teach y'all kids to love, because it starts from infancy on up. These people didn't just start being bullies at 20 years old, 30 years old. It started at a young age. And you can't teach that to your kids. You just got to be able to be a parent. You got to be ready to parent. Parenting don't come with instructions, but you know how you want to be treated. So you should teach your kids to treat people the way you want to be treated. Teach your children to love on each other, and we won't have all this bullying in the schools and stuff, and beating up teachers and all that. And then when these parents, when these teachers retaliate to these children, I've seen it so much on TV, on the news. A teacher her buttons may have been pushed, and she may have said something to that child, or maybe even put her hands on that child. Then you got the parents all in an uproar, like this teacher should be fired because she did this to my child. But what is your child? Where is your sense of sympathy for the teacher from what your child did to this teacher? See, everybody ain't going to treat your child like you do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't going to tolerate all that disrespect and putting your hands on me, and I'm not going to put my hands on you. Even though it's a child, the child is not acting like a child. But y'all parents want to come in defense mode and say that these teachers should be fired. No, you should be at home teaching your child manners, respect for adults, authority, and their peers. But y'all not doing that. Y'all giving them a pass. The administrations in the school is giving them a pass. Our children are being failed by so many people. That's why it is being so prevalent in the schools. So as parents, you have to step in somewhere. Y'all got to step in somewhere and teach y'all kids, man. I hate to turn on the news and see that a kid took his life because somebody was talking about his glasses or somebody was talking about his shoes, or a young girl, look at her hair and her this. That's not right, y'all. We got to stop. We got to stop with the foolishness. You got to teach your listen, if you don't know who your children's friends are, who they hanging out with, you don't know their parents and stuff like that, you're not doing good parenting. Are you having conversations with your kids daily as what did they do today? Where were they at? Who were they hanging out with? You know, you got to talk to your kids. Do y'all know y'all kids go through things? Y'all kids be every day when they leave their house, they have to go through something. They got to walk into a school building with hundreds of kids looking, smelling, acting a certain type of way, and then they gotta conform into this circle. They may not know if you're not teaching them. They may not know. So you have to teach your kids what you want them to do so that they won't be out here bullying on people or getting bullied on. You have to teach your children to love themselves. Let your child know you are beautiful just the way you are. Don't let no one tell you that you're not a beautiful girl. Don't let nobody tell you that your clothes that you have on is not all that. You know, or the house you live in, or the car that you drive. All these things stems from bullying. It stems from people not teaching those basic truths to each other. And that's what the problem is, you know. You see it. Look on the internet. I've talked about a few people, but it's like everybody want to talk about somebody to make themselves feel good. That's bullying. It's bullying. Period. I don't care if it's for views, likes, whatever it is. You shouldn't tear another person down in order to build yourself up. I think it's enough money out here for everybody to get a piece of the pie. I think it's enough to go around for everybody. You don't have to tear me down just so you can get to the top. You know? You don't. You see, it happens. You know, I was watching the BET Awards last week, and I haven't watched it in a long time. But I was watching it, and I was looking at the celebrities, okay? And you know how they come in and they had their little clothes on. I mean, it was some nice outfits and all of this and stuff. Everybody was looking good. But what struck me the most is what I heard when I don't, again, I'm not into all of the celebrity names, but I know a lot of them was out there dressed. And they was asking one guy, so what are you wearing? You know, and I'm just going to just say some things that, he was like, you know, I got on Louis Vuitton, and my shoes is from da 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 da. You know, these is YSL, and this is, you know, Chanel, and this is da 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 da. You know, they were saying all that, and I was looking at them like, wow. I mean, I guess that's what they do. I don't know, BT Awards. You know, tell me what designer you're wearing, but it was more than just that. It was just more not that, okay, I'm a celebrity, I'm wearing some Chanel, this is a dress by Chanel, and you know, blah, 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 move on. It was kind of more like a braggadocious type of thing. And so the average person who doesn't have those things may get envious of that, you know, those things that you're bragging about, and may say, oh, he think he's all of that, and that's where the bullying start coming in. This person thinks he's all that because he got this and he got that. And there's nothing wrong with having those things. I'm not saying that. It's not. But I'm just saying that if we teach each other, our kids, that it's okay if you don't have those things. You're still okay. You're still great. You still can do great things. Don't let nobody bully you into thinking that just because you this way, and I just said that to say that. But yeah, so you see it every day, even with adults, you know what I'm saying? That bullies, in the workplace. I was, just at a job, I had a job. I was working as a server preparer, and before I went back to teaching, because I had took a break. I had sort of like took a break from teaching the classrooms because I was, getting a little overwhelmed because working with kids is, I love kids, but working with kids is a challenge when you're dealing with some of these parents. Some of these parents are not holding their children accountable. Like I said, administration. So I had got tired. So anyway, so I'm in the server prepare role, and then we had this, it's the lady there, she's the manager, and she took her position a little bit to her head. Okay, she thought she can talk to me any kind of way. And every day she would say something to me. She would try to micromanage me in serving the food, as to how I serve the food. If it wasn't this way, if I did it this way, she said do it that way. If I went up, she said go down. It was just always something. She was bullying me. She was trying to micromanage me, and I couldn't take it. So me, type person that I am, I took it to the HR department or whatever to try to handle the situation, because that's what I was taught. I don't have to retaliate to somebody all the time unless somebody put their hands physically on me. I don't have to retaliate. Do words hurt? Yes, words hurt. The Bible says the tongue is sharper than a two-edged sword, so it can hurt. Words do hurt. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that adults bully other adults because they don't have love. They're hurt. They're hurting. You know, they're hurting. I see it on the internet every day. Every day I turn on my TV, they talking about somebody. Everybody team up together. Everybody do it. Everybody talking about this person, that person, that person, in a negative way. It's a lot of ways that we can do our content out here, in a positive light. And maybe I'm being naive. Maybe I'm, that girl who want to save the world. Like, I want everybody to love on each other, and that's not happening. But I feel like if I could reach one person, then I did my job, right? If I reach one person, I did my job, because I've been bullied before, talked about. I still get talked about right now, just the way I look, the way I look, the way I'm built, all things like that. People have said cruel things to me, adults, but I don't let that bother me. And I want you to teach your kids. Don't let nobody tell you that your physical is not good enough. Because who is it not good enough for? It's not good enough for you, because it's good enough for me. And once you know that, you won't have to go out here and start cutting up on your body, doing things to your body that you shouldn't be doing things that God have already gave you to work with. You know what I'm saying? You have so many women out here. You seen it. You may even know somebody. Leave me a comment. Let me know. You know anybody who have lost their life because they had cosmetic surgery or some type of surgery to enhance their body? And again, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with doing whatever a person wants to do for themselves. I'm saying don't let someone bully you about your appearance, your body type, your face, or whatever it is, to make you go get surgery to enhance it for their liking. Your life is more important than what somebody else feel about you. And if you love on yourself, right? Love on yourself. Maybe you ain't for everybody. You have these men out here, they want a woman that very voluptuous. You may be a little, not voluptuous, you know? So are you going to stop liking yourself? Or are you going to be like, oh, wow, I need to go get a breast implant because they keep talking about my breast and my this. Those aren't your friends. Those are not your people you want to be around. You want to be around positive people, people that's uplifting you, people that's going to accept you for who you are. And you got to learn that. And you have to teach your kids that. Those are their real friends. Because any person, friend, boyfriend, mother, father, sister, brother, whoever, tell you that you're not good enough or something on your body is not good enough, then that's not your friend. That's not who you need to be around. Those are some jealous, bullying people, and you want to stay away from them. You know? Oh, your butt is so flat. Your butt is so flat. She don't have no booty. She ain't got no booty. She ain't got no booty. So these women go out here, they get booty. They get big ones, big booties. And guess what? They regret it to this day. I've heard it. You've heard it. You know anybody who got one and they regret it? Leave me a comment. Let me know. I've seen so many people, celebrities. They got money, rich. If I was rich, y'all, if I was rich and I had all this money, even if I ain't rich, because I'm not rich, but if I had all this money, do you think I would care about having a big booty, a big breast? If I was rich, I'd be living the life that I want. I would be doing the things. I would be traveling the world, eating delicious foods, meeting new people, enjoying life, not worrying about what my breast and my butt got to do with the quality of your life. How it's going to change the quality of your life because my booty is flat or my breast is too big or too small. That's what bullying come in at. We got to teach ourselves and teach our kids that baby, I love you. You love yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with your hair. Ain't nothing wrong with your butt. Ain't nothing wrong with your teeth. There ain't nothing wrong with none of that. Stop bullying. Love yourself. Love your own self. And that's what the problem is. Y'all not loving yourself. Y'all letting somebody else love yourself. You're letting somebody else love what they want you to look like. I don't get it. And again, like I said, if I could help one person, I did my job. But school is about to start. I think y'all better start talking to y'all kids. Tell them not to be a bully. Tell them not to join the hate train. Tell them to meet real friends, people who really genuinely like them and truly genuinely wants to be around them. Not somebody that low-key hate them, just around them. They're not really their friends. They don't really like them. They got a motive. They want to hurt them or they want what they have. They just, teach your kids that. Teach your kids that. Because you can save their lives and somebody else's life. Because it's sad. It's just really sad. It really hurts me to see that these kids is out here and these adults is out here doing these things. But again, that's enough for that. Bullying is real. Stop the bullying. Stop the bullying. Teach our kids before school start back. It's not too late, parents. You got this. You could do it. I got faith in you. To our next video, I'll talk to you later. This is your big girl AJ signing out. I love you.